Oh yeah. But then it happened again when we went to go see La La Land with you, the three of us.
Yes,
and it's like bum 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 ba dum ba dum bum 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 bum, and Ellis goes like 10 seconds in, and she has an audible like sigh. I'm like, oh god, and it's like going on like, yeah,
we had 2 more hours
another day of sun. I'm like,
Oh,
oh shit. I'm like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Yeah.
Going to air.
Stand by film.
5,
Stand by music.
4,
Stand by announce.
3, 2, 1.
And fade up.
Sneaky little Morbises.
Spider-Man, hero or menace?
Dear Indugo.
Dobby the house elf.
Who holds sway over the 5 points?
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
This is my family.
There's a hole in this catch.
You concur.
I'm a bloody Island. I'm bloody Ibiza.
How about new? You crazy Dutch bastard.
She got Shrek. She got Shrek and 2 other ones.
Motherfucker!
Yeah.
God!
I know. It was like
Flip the table!
she got the other ones, and then I'm on the phone like waiting for her to say Moulin Rouge, and I was like, do I say it or do I just wait? You know, like, we saw it together, and she's like,
oh shit.
Spider-Man?
My favorite part is because Ellen doesn't listen to the podcast. She has no idea what we're talking about. She's like, I like my pretzels.
pretzels are good.
Yeah.
Welcome, one and all, to our very special end of year awards episode of 20 Years, 4 Beers. We are a podcast dedicated to rewatching movies from 2 decades ago, while simultaneously enjoying a minimum of 4 modern beers. Maybe not this episode. My name is Steve, and this is my big brother,
Tim.
And we are coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota. We come to you after recording our final episode of 2022, where we covered the 22... What?
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Huh?
Well, it's a math
2002?
thing. You subtract
2002?
Yeah.
Best Picture winner, Chicago.
Yep.
Now we are bringing you our very special episode where we will discuss our favorites from this past year, both beer and film. We will be discussing our top beers in a variety of categories, as well as our favorite performances, screenplays, and overall films. We may even discuss our least favorites as well. I'm sure we have a couple.
I'm sure we will.
As with our normal episodes, we begin with our drinking buddies.
Come on, not my fucking beer.
And we are drinking a new beer. I don't know I don't even know what we have.
It's a drinking buddy.
Drinking buddy. But Tim's gonna tell us what we're drinking for this episode. What do you got, Tim?
We have from Wild.
Is this Wild Minds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be so judgmental.
It tastes like Wild Minds.
Shut up!
It's Wild. You don't know what you're talking about. It's Wild Mind Artisanal Ales down the street from my house, which is fantastic. From Minneapolis, they're aged mixed fermentation golden sour ale fermented on peaches. Their wood cellar option. It's called Persica.
Is it?
It is called Persica.
Persica. Have you looked up what Persica means?
I don't know why I would have.
I don't know, because you like big words. Are you going to try and see if you can hand it back to me, or what's happening
here? It's like a smoothie sour.
Curry. It's good.
It doesn't smell like curry.
I'm sorry, we're working on a 16-ounce beer.
No. It's a very, like a smoothie sour type of like.
I enjoy it. I still would probably go like 3.75 or 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it was like a 4 for me. Yeah. It's a nice sipping option. While it
tastes way better than it smells, yeah.
Yes. See, it does smell interesting. The taste is way better.
Do you want to go?
We will enjoy it while we discuss the 2002 options of the year. But yes, Drinking Buddy is 2000.
We're just gonna ramble on here.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah,
4 stars.
Just rambling on,
trying to fill time as you're like discussing with
just
him.
Stop talking. I can cut it out later. Who gives a damn? Doesn't matter. All right. So
Yellow
this
leather.
year, all right.
Yellow
So Tim, here we go. This
Here
year,
we-
our
here we
beer
go.
awards
Here we go.
have a new name. In that last year we didn't have them,
Ooh.
so they have a new name. And Tim, are you familiar with what the Latin for 20 years is?
Please tell me.
So Latin for 20 years is Vincenia. There you go.
Love it already.
So here we go.
Love it.
Right. So our beer awards are going to be called the Vicenials.
Yes.
Just for Tim.
Oh
We're gonna go-
man.
yeah.
I am
It's actually Vicenials. It's Vicenia is
I
20
am
years in Latin.
indescribably.
Vicenials are our
Yes.
20-year.
God, Steve.
Last year we referred to them as the Marlins in the film category, but we got the Vicenials in the beer category.
God, just incredible.
So we begin with our favorite beers of the year. How this will work is we have categories: IPA, stout/dark, sour, specialty beer, and other. To clarify, the other beer can be almost anything, literally whatever we want.
Yep.
Tim, what IPA did you have as your best IPA that we had this year?
I looked through the notes and
Did you now?
I take notes.
Makes one of us. I had to listen back through every episode to remember what the hell we had.
Like
an idiot.
the website's not updated. I don't know.
I'll get there. It's a few months old.
Pure Brewing options we had during the Born Identity segment
Sure.
in May, I believe it was. Hydra or Super Beta.
Hydra,
Both
Super
of
Beta,
them-
and West were the ones we had.
Bring them back from
Hydra was a sour
San
IPA.
Diego. Yes. Those two stood out this year, looking back through the notes of fantastic options as well as just enjoying that time in San Diego.
Yeah. Super Beta was on my list, but I ended up going with Scream Double IPA
This is
as a
solid.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, we had a weird year in IPA because I think the rest of our categories, we had some really standouts, but the IPAs were kind of like, with the exception of that freaking mint strawberry IPA that we had, or whatever the hell that
Yes.
was, die on a hill. That
Yeah.
was,
It was
God. No, that was
tough year
awful.
for IPA.
No, I had Scream Double IPA. So stout/dark. We had a lot of dark or black IPAs too. So
Yeah.
there were a lot of going. But what did you got for the stout/dark?
It was the Prize Brewing Lost Moon Russian Imperial Stout that we had during the Star Wars episode with JT when he joined us.
Mhm.
That one was,
It was really good.
I remember, almost a 5 for me. It was incredible. So that one stood out as fantastic.
I like that one too, but I also kind of forgot about that episode because it was such a bad movie.
Again, why take notes?
Right? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
No, I had the Horror of the Shade Barrel Aged Stout from Invictus.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one that I was like, I would buy this again if it wasn't $22 a bottle. Like, my cheap ass wasn't going to buy more, but I'll be damned if it wasn't really good.
That's good.
Probably
It was
because it was Invictus doesn't have a lot of great beers,
Yes.
so I think it stood out for that reason.
I agree.
I had probably a 4 or 5 out of that one, either one, but that was the one stout that was like, oh yeah, this
Stand out.
is really good.
It's good.
Yep. And then we've got sour next is our next category. I'll go first because you went first.
Yeah,
twice.
back and forth. I got it.
I had the Imperial Tiki Sour from Humble Forager early on this year.
Yeah.
That was an outstanding. I think that was our first Humble Forager, actually, or one of the
Yes.
first. Outstanding sour. We had a few weird sours, and I wanted to go with the what was the guacamole sour,
Yeah.
just to be a dick about it. But no, I was
It was
like, the
weird.
Imperial Tiki Sour from Humble Forager was really good.
That's good. Well, I got to give a shout out to JT.
Shout
because JT brought the stout, and he brought the Weldworks Beachside Boba Imperial Sour
Boba
Ale
was really good.
for 8 Mile
Yep.
episode. And that was like a knock your socks off. Holy cow. I will drive to Colorado. No, I might drive to Colorado
You would fly to Colorado
bring
and
this
rent a
back
car to go to Weldworks
to possibly
Yes,
come
I
back
get
for
it.
that. But yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, he brought Coors Light that day, so that was about the end of that. Just a basic bitch beer. That is a good sour, though.
It was fantastic.
The other category. This is interesting. I want you to go first on this one. What do you have the
speaking
other?
of Humble Forager,
Humble.
for the Super Troopers episode, I had the Humble Forager Imperial Coffee Stout with roasted hazelnuts, toasted coconut, Monster coffee, and maple syrup.
Yeah.
Because again, my whole thing about the Super Troopers was maple syrup options.
Yeah.
And that was a whole lot of awesomeness going on But just like most things, I couldn't do a tall boy.
Yeah.
I don't know why they had that in that option, but that was an
Yeah.
incredible, weird, fantastic beer.
Yeah, the two I had was one that you had in an episode, but you gave me a can of it, was that Paul and Babe's breakfast ale out of Hop and Barrel.
Yep.
That was like blueberry.
Yeah, blueberry, like maple syrup. And
Yeah, that was really effed up. And I was
Yes.
like, that was actually really good. But the one I ended up going with is that Opium Cake Imperial Sour out of 8 Wired
that was a
Brewing.
close one for me.
Like,
Yes.
The one with raisins and what the hell else was it? Poppy seed
Yes.
and raisins and God knows what.
Yeah.
Like, what is
grab bag of
happening in
random
my
shit.
mouth right now? It was incredible. Like, yeah, it was so weird, so good, and I would never spend another dollar on
No.
any of it again. It was so good though.
Well, that's
I'm
why
so
I love
glad
the-
about that beer. That was one of
you
my
know-
favorite strange brews we've
Yeah,
ever
the
had.
Strange Brews. I love it.
All right, and then Tim, worst beer. What do you got?
Well, okay. So
Uh-oh.
this is going to be splitting hairs, but
Oh, well, here we go. Not
So,
on this podcast.
speaking of strange brews, so we had the lemon beer or the lemon bacon beer
Okay.
recently, and that was objectively awful.
Right.
Like you couldn't drink it more. But I knew it going into it,
Okay.
being like, we have to try this. Because how the hell would you brew this?
Okay.
And it was indeed what we thought it would be.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
But speaking of indeed, for me this year, I would say
Yeah, that was
the
your most
pumpkin
disappointing.
pistachio cream ale, where they gave you a tall boy of a cream ale, which I love the pistachio cream ale, and they
Yeah, I
make
do.
it awful with pumpkin. And you can,
See?
you can,
See?
yes. I didn't even want to
You just
include
proved my
this 'cause
point
I'm like,
for me.
"Ah, vindication for you. I was like, God, I shouldn't even include this. God. So it was like 2 sips. I'm like, done. I can't. I had a 4-pack.
You had
I
a
was like,
4-pack.
God dang it.
Yeah.
I got to dump it all. So,
And I did not have that one because I never would.
no.
No, that's not a terrible. My worst beer is the lemon bacon beer.
I mean,
It just is.
Yes.
Because it shouldn't exist.
No.
It is the bastard child of whatever scientists decided to do. Like, it is just, no. Kill it
Let's just try
before,
this.
yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah, no. It was
It
horrifying.
was terrible.
Like, why would you do this?
Why would you make this?
Why would you do this to beer? And I wanted to like it, right? We talked about the base beer was actually pretty good.
Yes.
It shouldn't exist.
No.
It was so bad.
Yes.
There were a couple others I was like, this wasn't very good, but that mint berry one was not good at all.
Or
That we had.
Ninja and Unicorn tonight.
Yeah, Ninja Unicorn was bad, but no, that
Earlier.
lemon bacon
Lemon
beer
bacon
should
was-
not exist.
Ooh.
Jesus.
Shake
All
it
right.
off. Shake it off.
Well, there we go. That's our Viceni Ales awards
so happy
for
you
you.
brought
Yeah,
that
there you go.
up.
You're going to
God,
love this
so
next one.
good.
So that'll bring us into our movie awards then. Last year, we could not come up with a name for our awards, so we obviously called them the Marlins. But this year, I brought out my inner Tim, and we will be referring to our awards as the Viceni Reels.
Yes.
Instead of Vicennial of 20 years, it's the Viceni Reels.
Oh God, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
well, welcome to
so
what
good.
it's like to record with
Don't
your
listen
husband.
to them. Don't listen to them. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Here's how this will work. We'll begin with the screenplay awards and 4 acting categories: director and finally picture. We'll also be giving out our version of the Razzie, which we will still, since he's not here, be calling the Stefanis.
Yes. Can't beat
So
that one.
on
Can't
the
beat that
original
one.
screenplay category, Tim, this is a pretty. We had a weird year this year for both original screenplay and also female roles. Actually, were really hard to
It
come
was
by.
a bit of a
I don't
tough
want to
year.
like. Don't eyeball me, Ellen.
I know.
I didn't do this on
It's
purpose.
Hollywood.
It was
Hollywood.
not me. This was Harvey Weinstein's fault.
yes.
So, on the original screenplay category, Tim, what do you got?
I had Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yep.
Was the best.
There aren't many original screenplays aside from that, actually.
No, but of the movies we watched, looking back through, that one was justified in how it was such a huge success.
Yeah.
And it was such a different take on the romantic comedy and relatable and fantastic. So, yeah, that one deserved.
It was up
All
for
the-
original
yes, it was
screenplay,
up.
right? And like, so we did not cover, because I think Ichu Mama Tambien won.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, we did not cover a lot of what actually ended up winning at the Oscars
No.
in terms of, because we weren't going to watch The Hours at all.
No.
Nobody needs to watch that
It's
movie
terrible.
ever again. I also have my Big Fat Greek Wedding. Like it is, yeah. Yep. Same page on that one. Adapted screenplay. I had a hard time with this one because almost every other movie we covered this year was an adapted screenplay. I ended up going with About a Boy. I love I love that movie, but B, the adaptation of About a Boy is so well done. And
Yes.
I was debating on that or Road to Perdition.
Sure.
Were the two that I was kind of going between, but I went with About a Boy for best
That's a good call because
adapted screenplay. Damn right it is.
I finished the audiobook before watching it and being like, yeah, it's
Look
a
at
great.
you.
Again, I didn't read the book, but I listened to it.
I didn't read the book either.
But it's a great
It's so good.
adaptation.
The adaptation is so good. So that
For
was
me,
what I went with.
I struggle because like last year we had the whole thing with like the Lord of the Rings stuff where it's like, okay, we kind of have to move it aside for the sake of what's coming next year.
Yeah, I
with
did.
the final
I
one.
did what the Oscars did this
Yeah, it's
year.
like, nope.
Actually, yep.
So acknowledging that,
Acknowledged.
I actually thought Minority Report was a great adapted screenplay from the base core idea of what they
From a
wanted to
Philip K. Dick.
have.
Yep.
And then what they put together was my choice for adapted screenplay.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so we move into the acting categories now. So we'll start with supporting actor. Tim, what do you got?
Can we just say Brian Cox?
God,
Like,
fucking
everything.
Damn it! I have Brian Cox.
Yeah.
About everything.
He was like, for everything.
Damn you. I have this
He was
same
like
thing.
7 movies this year.
damn it.
He came out of nowhere in 2002.
We're shutting this shit down.
No, but like,
It's the same fucking thing.
but we joked about
No.
like,
I didn't pick him, but I said he should be because he's been in everything.
we
that we've
covered like
this
6
year.
movies he was
Yes.
in. Unbeknownst to us, in hindsight, he was in everything in 2002. So yeah,
It's the worst.
he deserved it.
So aside from
But-
Brian
no,
Cox,
but,
what do
like,
you got?
Ha ha ha! Like joking, but honestly, like I think of Super Troopers, his role in that movie. I'm like, you know what? Yeah,
You gonna pick him?
yeah. I'm
Good
I'm
for
picking
you.
Brian Cox.
Good for you.
Absolutely,
Good for
sticking
you.
with the Cox. I'm picking Brian Cox.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
No,
what do you
Tim
have?
loves his Cox.
What do you have for
Tim
supporting
loves
actor?
his Cox. I picked Paul Newman in the end. I did think,
Yeah.
I did think Brian Cox, but I was like, no, Paul Newman was
Road to
my pick
Perdition
for that.
was good
But I
one.
can't top the Cox. Supporting actress, again, I hate to say it, it was a little rough to pick.
It was tough.
Yeah, probably should be thinking about this as we're thinking about our future movies to cover. I went with Toni Collette from About a Boy for
That's a good-
supporting actress.
Yeah, she is really good in that.
Yes. Yep.
Really good.
Also, I love that movie.
I actually tonight chose Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah. Yep.
Like when she won the
She's
Oscar
outstanding.
and seeing this, it's like, yeah, she well deserved
Mhm.
the accolades for it.
Again, when you consider the fact that on stage that is a full role and they cut it back for
Yeah.
this, so then she has to kind of like have this entire sort of hashed out role, but in substantially less time on stage or screen.
Yes.
She's outstanding in it.
Yeah.
And I was actually surprised she won because Queen Latifah was also up that same year. And
Yeah.
oftentimes that does sort of like
Split the
ruin
vote.
that a little, but
Yep.
no, she is really good in that.
Really good.
All right, so we move now to Best Actor. What do you got, Tim?
Okay.
This is a tough year for Best Actor, actually.
There's a lot of good options here.
Well, we already talked about this throughout. Like, we've covered all but one of them, I think, this year.
Yes. So for me, it was Adrian Brody with much humility and realizing I didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
Steve, you're right.
You're right.
Because of how much I love
Yes.
Daddy Day-Lewis with Gangs of New York. But
Right.
watching again, Adrian Brody, what he did with that role and his introspective and just quiet portrayal was just shocking to
Yeah.
me how good he was. So yeah, he deserved the Oscar that year, I think. So that was my choice.
I'm just
Yeah.
going to bask in this for just...
Yeah, I know. Yes.
Because I
Like-
also have Adrian Brody, so I'm just going to let it sit. Because, of course.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
he's ridiculous. No.
Nope. Just wait, good sir.
It's so
Just
good.
like the Vikings should have run away with the division this year. I'm right.
We're-
Adrian Brody.
we won't talk about that.
Anyway, sports ball. So we have Best Actress again. Boy, was this a tough
It's a
one.
tough
I
year.
hate to break. I had Jodie Foster for Panic Room.
That's a good choice.
I know because I chose it.
That's-
So that's interesting.
yes.
I had Jodie Foster
I
for Panic
chose
Room
that. It's a
actually.
good choice.
So yep.
I chose Renee Zellweger actually.
Oh,
To be fair.
Oh, yeah. Again,
Hold on.
It's only on movies we've covered.
only
not
movies
on,
we've
'cause
covered.
Obviously, Nicole Kidman, well,
We haven't seen
won
her.
for the hours
Yes.
in this year, and Nicole
we didn't watch
Kidman
that.
is garbage of a human being /
And it was a
actress, but that's
reflection
fine.
of the
right. And there were not if you look at the best actress nominees of this year from an Oscar standpoint, we only covered Renee Zellweger of
Yes.
those years.
Yes.
So it's okay.
Even if she's a bad lip singer, like really can't put it together. But
All right.
But no, I like that Jodie Foster. But yeah, that to me was like
Yeah.
watching that. I'm like, okay. If nothing else from this year, I was like looking back through the movies we watched. I was like, there was nothing offered.
Not of
to
what we watched. Yep.
Actresses. It was terrible.
Yep. Again, we'll correct that next year.
Yep.
And so we have 2 more to go. Well, 3 with worst movie.
Yeah.
Best director, Tim. I had 2 before going in. Yeah, I had a couple. So what do you got?
I was waiting on what it would be like tonight watching Chicago because
Sure.
he was up for it. I actually think Martin Scorsese for Gangs of New York, with what he was able to accomplish with the production values and bring it together, despite how much I had many, many problems with it from a directorial standpoint.
Interesting that you're defending him as a director, but all right, that's fine.
that was what stood out to me for this year of what he was able to accomplish. Polanski was a close second for me, but that was my choice with Scorsese.
Polanski was a close second for me, but Rob Marshall was my pick for best director.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah.
I don't think you can take a stage show. Again, it had been 1968 since a musical won Best Picture. And you come in and you have the balls to look at Miramax and be like, I don't want to do Rent. I want to do Chicago. And here's how I'm going to do it. And then you deliver.
Yeah.
Like, big swing and dick move, man. And he delivered.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's a great movie.
Yes.
All the scenes are great. All the performances are great. Like, yeah, Rob Marshall for me is the best director of this year. And I think Roman Polanski does a great job for that.
Yeah.
But looking back on it now, I'm kind of like, no, I think Rob Marshall probably should have won.
Yep.
Arguably making the modern musical what it is now, if you think,
True.
because in the 90s, musicals were animated Disney films.
Yeah.
They're under the list.
Oh, yeah. Nothing.
And it became an actual thing after that. Phantom of the Opera, Rent were in the next few years after that, all the way up to Les Mis, and then we have La La Land a few years ago. I think without Rob Marshall making this movie and making it well,
True.
I just think we look at that. So he's my best director.
Cool.
All right. So do you want to do worst movie or best picture next?
Let's do worse than
Let's do worst
bad
movie.
news, good news.
This will be interesting because I think we have 2 clear front runners of
Absolutely,
garbage
we do.
freaking movies this year. I think we both ended up picking Spirited Away. Or did you
Yes.
pick Star Wars? It was between Star Wars
I
Episode
struggled.
2 or Spirited Away. I ended up going with Spirited Away as the worst movie of the year.
Star Wars for me was a first thought, like, yeah, absolutely.
I had it written down too, and then I
because the
deleted
pedigree
it. Yes.
of like
Yeah.
what it was relative to
Written
the
down,
franchise, and then as I looked through, I'm like, oh no,
I know you hated Spirited Away so
it's
much.
the worst movie I've ever seen. Like it's truly, I will never watch it again.
That's what got me there. Is like between the I
And it won
originally wrote
freaking
Star
best
Wars
animated feature. Like,
yeah, I wrote Attack of the Clones, and I was like, wait, I would rather watch
Yes.
that than Spirited Away.
Oh,
God,
I will watch no other movie if it meant that I could watch Star Wars Attack of the Clones before I watch Spirited Away. I'll gladly forego every movie ever made if it meant I could watch Attack of the Clones to not have to watch Spirited Away, because it's just straight fucking garbage. Sorry,
I have
know.
to
I'll give you-
bleep it. Oh my
F-bomb, yeah.
God! I hope I don't miss
The
F-bomb.
visceral
Oh,
reaction to
God.
Spirited Away is so awful. So,
yeah, I agree. Spirited Away was my worst movie of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
There's so many people that would absolutely just stab us in the eye for that.
Worst
but
movie of all time
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it was not enjoyable.
that I've seen.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so then we have our best picture winner. Do you want to go first?
No, you can go.
I picked Chicago. Chicago was the right choice. I love the Two Towers, but for me, at the time, if you think about the art form of the musical at the time and what they were able to do, the pure joy that is this movie, like from beginning to end, yeah, I picked Chicago as the best picture of the year.
I was expecting to choose Minority Report
And look at
of the
you.
ones we watched in terms
Which is
of
one of my all-time. It's weird because like I love Minority Report more than
Yes.
Chicago in a sense,
Yes.
but for me, yeah,
of what it was,
God, I
the
love
story
that
it told, and ahead of its time, and the commentary and all these great things, and just a fantastic action movie.
Mhm.
I was really hung up. I'm like, well, we'll see what happens tonight. And then I watched this and like, God dang it, it's deserving of the best picture. Yes, so I chose Chicago for me that year. It was well earned, all the accolades, and it's really really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Told you, Ellen. All right then.
She's like, get bent.
Get bent. All right, that brings us then to the end of our 2022 adventure to our 2002 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned later this month in January.
Yep.
We will begin our foray into the movies of 2003, beginning with another comedy in 2003's Old School and a happy hour to be determined once Tim looks at the list that I sent him via email 4 months ago. We want to say thank you for taking the time to listen and for clicking that like or subscribe button on your devices. Find us on Twitter at years_beers and on Facebook, or head to 20years4beers.com. This has been 20 Years 4 Beers. My name is Steve.
I'm Tim.
And thank you for listening.
Thanks.
Big swinging dick move, man.
Yes! God, Steve!
God,
Like, everything.
damn it. What is
grabbing of
happening in
random
my
shit.
mouth?
Sticking with the cocks.
Cut! Cut! Cut!